What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four and Superman. Bro, I am freaking excited as hell, bro, to be talking about these movies. Honestly, bro, those movies left an impact in 2025, and I feel like they're going to leave an impact in comic book media for the rest of history, bro. The rest of history. Let's start with Superman, and let's talk about what James Gunn is trying to do over there in DC Studios and see what he's doing different right now that is really going to help him in the long run that the DCU didn't do before. So yeah, let's start with that. The characterization. Let's start with that, bro. He's not an aura farming demigod that is just there to receive the praise of the people, okay? This is a Superman that feels. This is a Superman that is flawed. This is a Superman that has mistakes, that makes mistakes, and takes accountability for those mistakes. We have a Superman that is gonna go the extra mile to save anyone that he can. And I really love that. And I think Superman was meant to represent that from the start. And I feel like we really, shied away from that after Snyder's version of things. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I like Snyder movies, and I like the Justice League one, the Snyder cut. I really liked, Aquaman was a decent movie. Batman vs. Superman was a good movie. I think Man of Steel was a good movie. Were they comic accurate? No. Did they respect a lot of the source material? No. But, it was a really good movie. It was a good adaptation. And for that, I am grateful that we had those movies, because those movies paved the way for us to be where we are at now. So for that, I'm grateful. Like I said, I want to say Superman was amazing. The score was top tier. The acting was top tier. Lex Luthor's rage was top tier. The whimsical aspects of things, I love that. I like that. Huh?
A pocket universe?
Yeah, a pocket universe. There you go. So Luthor had a pocket universe in this movie, and it's already setting up a lot of things. We had Mr. Handsome. We had, Metamorpho. We also had, the Justice Gang, which is a nod to the Justice League and, the Hall of Justice in the comics. And yeah, I mean, I feel like where we're going with this is, it's a good way to start. It's a good way to start the DCU, and I'm excited for Lanterns, and I really like Creature Commandos. I'm excited to see what James Gunn does next. I know Supergirl is right around the corner as well. They're already filming that movie, and I feel like Kara is going to be a great addition, especially right now when we're starting with the metahumans, because it's setting up the bigger, how would I even say without saying scope twice? It's setting up the bigger universe. You know, we have Lanterns, we have metahumans, we have the Kryptonians, we are gonna have, obviously, the Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern Corps, it's my bad. We also have Hawkgirl, you know, we're setting up aliens early on, we're setting up, little hints towards like Bizarro and stuff like that, with him getting sucked into a black hole. I like that we leave back doors open to visit them later on in the future, because I feel like the MCU started out like that, but eventually they had a plan of what they wanted to do, and they manufacture it, and they stopped taking risks with the little Easter eggs that we found behind, you know, the people and stuff. I know there's still a lot of Easter eggs, but there wasn't left swing Easter eggs like we used to have, like, you know, like Captain America's shield and, in the background of like Tony Stark's lab or something like that, you know, like setting up like his future shield, or setting up, Hank Pym in the background of like Infinity War and stuff like that Endgame, whenever these, time travel. I like stuff like that, because I just read a comic the other day. It was It was X-Men versus Godzilla, and I like how they incorporated different parts of the Marvel Universe to make it make sense with that story. Like whenever Gambit went to go get a suit that was going to help them battle Godzilla, he also had Pym particles. They had a nod towards Hank Pym without him actually having to be in the comic, and I like that. I like the universe feeling huge. I mean, we have Frank Grillo in the mix, you know. He was already a Creature Commandos. I know he's going to be the main villain for Peacemaker Season 2. I'm excited for that. And like I said, I'm just excited for James Gunn and what he's going to do in the DCU. And overall, great start. great movie. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. The only reason is because I'm not as big of a DC fan as some people are. I really like DC Comics. I'm probably a bigger DC fan than any average person is, you know? But I'm not gonna say that that's my main cup of tea. I really like Marvel Comics. I like the MCU. I know it hasn't been the best recently, but I feel like they've been fixing the mistakes that they had over the years after Endgame, after Infinity War, after those big movies, and they took for granted their audience and they walked away from it. We've seen it in the box office, you know. Fantastic Four was an amazing movie. It had a 60% drop in the box office by the second week. So the audiences are noticing that there is flaws in this system, so the system has to change. If it's not making you money, the system has to change. And I've learned that with every single studio, with every single movie that I've seen before. So I am very, very optimistic. So with that, I'm going to segue into Fantastic Four and let's talk about everything I loved about that movie. So that movie had an amazing aesthetic. I know what they were going for, and it was straight out of the comics. It was so comic accurate. The family aspect was good. I love how they changed Johnny, you know, to fit a more modern audience. I knew they were going to do it, and I was a bit skeptical about it because they had said it in an interview before the movie was released. And I was a bit scared. I was a bit scared that they were going to make him, you know, too cushiony to take away all his Johnniness, but it was still there. It was a more lighthearted guy. You know, he wasn't over the top. He wasn't an asshole, and he doesn't have to be. And he, in a way, led the movie, and they all did. They all had their time to shine. But for me, the one who took the main spotlight was Sue. Vanessa Kirby did an amazing job at being the mom of the group. Because even before she had the baby, that's who she had to be. Sue Storm is that nurturing, loving, caring, girl in the group. You know, she cares about Johnny. She cares about Ben. She cares about, Mr. Fantastic. You know, I just read a comic where they're transported, to different periods of time, and Sue Storm is like the defining factor of who's gonna save them. And right now there's like no hope left, but it ended off in her saying, okay, well, everyone's doomed. If there's no way of me saving them, then everybody's gonna die. And I like how they put her as this main focus because it's a recent comic as well. I'm gonna put it up. I'm not sure what the name of it is, and I'm not sure who's writing it, but I am gonna put it up. And I'm gonna reference it a lot because I do like the dynamics that they have right now because it feels like the dynamics that they're gonna have later on in the MCU. So I am gonna continue to read that run. I am excited to see Franklin Richards in the MCU. I hope they bring Valeria into the mix one way or another. But yeah, big players for these next few sagas. I hope they stick the landing with this reboot, and I hope that they keep on making movies like the Fantastic Four, like Thunderbolts, you know. I'm tired of these filler episode movie shows, you know. I hate that. I want everything to feel interconnected again, and I'm kind of dreading Wonder Man because it feels like that generic Disney Plus show, and I don't want it to end that way. I feel like Power Man is a freaking amazing character in the comics, and if they can pull it off, I'm going to be really happy with it, and I hope he's a big player later on as well. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a video coming on Spider-Man Brand New Day. I want to talk about set photos. I want to talk about, you know, the villains being rumored to be in the movie, who's going to be in the movie. And, yeah, I feel like this movie's going to set up big things and it's going to end in a really big way. And I just hope that they stick the landing with this one as well. They just started filming. The buzz on it is insane. The suit looks fantastic. So thank you so much for anyone that's watching. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, you know, follow wherever you're watching. It will really help me out. It'll, you know, boost this energy that I have to be making content. And I hope you guys can feel my passion and you can feel what I'm saying in my words because I'm really interested in these next few years of comic book media. And I hope you guys are too. And I'm excited. So yeah, this has been your boy Rojo. Peace.
Nosotros somos de barrio, ahora somos los dueños de la esquina. La prendo y celebrity.